Hi guys, and welcome back to Clearview Driving. Today I'm doing a mock test with Deiya. Now Deiya's been learning to drive with me from a complete beginner. We've done around 34 hours or so.
Yeah.
Now this isn't her first mock test. She knows what's involved in a mock test, so we've done some before this. Kind of sometimes half an hour, sometimes the whole thing.
Yeah.
But today it's recorded. Now your test is coming up, how long?
It's 1st of July.
About. Let's not go into when it is, but your
test,
just generally. So your test is coming up in exactly a month's time.
Yeah.
So you've got some time. So hopefully, if there's any mistakes we can cover them. But hopefully we can get a nice pass today. All right. So before we get started, you know what's involved in a test. I'm not going to go through the details. So I'm going to ask a quick question. Could you tell me where would you find the coolant, and how do you check it's at the right level?
It's in the bonnet, so you have to open it from here.
Okay.
And it should be in between min and max.
Okay.
But don't open it after you've been driving because it'll be steamy.
Okay, perfect. That sounds good. So when you're ready, we can start the engine and then we'll get driving. So I'm going to give you 10-15 minutes of independent driving as we're going, okay?
Okay.
Okay. On approach of this first roundabout to follow the road ahead, Deiya's got a good view of the roundabout, so she looks quite early and she's able to continue without stopping. On approach to the roundabout to turn left, Deiya should have waited for the bus which was approaching from her right as they were turning into the same road. We managed to get there just before the bus, so this did not go down as a serious fault, but you should always give way to the traffic on your right. If the bus had been any faster, this would have been a serious fault. When passing any parked vehicles, always aim to leave at least 1 meter of clearance. If you're not able to leave 1 meter, then you need to travel slower. Deiya does maintain a nice clearance all round, but it's a good idea to always be checking your mirrors as you're moving your position in the road. Take the next road on your right. Deiya maintains a nice position in the middle of the road as there are parked vehicles on both sides. When driving down roads like this, always watch out for meeting situations and be prepared to give way. On this occasion, the van happened to give way, but Deiya should have approached a little bit slower. If you can pull over and park up on the left, please. When the examiner gives you instructions to pull over and park, try and look for a space to park up and try not to park up immediately. Deiya pulls into the first space she sees and she ends up in front of someone's driveway. She should have carried on a little bit further and then parked up in the next space available. That's okay, don't worry. Drive off when you're ready. As we're going forward, there's a bit of a situation ahead where there's been a collision. Deiya does keep to the left of the centre line and she maintains a good distance from the vehicle ahead, but she should have tried to position more towards the left so that vehicles oncoming have more space to go through the middle of the road. Small cars were able to continue through the small space, but Deiya should have moved more towards the left when the larger van had approached. Deiya did move straight away, but she should have definitely moved earlier because there was less space for the van to continue. While waiting in this position to move off, it's a good idea to signal right as we're having to completely come out of our lane to go around the obstruction ahead. This way it makes it very clear to traffic in front and behind that we're having to move onto the right hand side of the road. As we get to the end of this road to turn left, Deiya needs to look all around. She's mainly looking towards the right. As the road that we're moving onto is fairly narrow, as we come out of this turn, you will naturally swing out to avoid hitting the back tyre. As she moves out, she gets a serious fault with her control on steering as she moves onto the opposite side of the road and moves in front of oncoming traffic. Approaching zebra crossings, always step off the accelerator on approach and even brake if you cannot see both sides clearly. If your view is obscured by oncoming traffic, always slow down as there may be a pedestrian easily hidden behind oncoming traffic. On approach to any junctions, if the examiner doesn't give you any instructions, you need to keep following the road ahead. If you're not sure where you're going, you can always ask, but always ask in advance so that you can position in good time. As we're going forward, there are parked vehicles on the left-hand side of the road. Deiya moves over to the middle in good time, and then there's a large bus approaching. She deals with the bus really nicely by slowing down in the middle of the road. If it's necessary, you can also come to a complete stop and then continue again when safe. But she needs to check her mirrors more regularly as she's doing this movement. When moving your position in the road, always check your mirrors side to side as there could easily be a cyclist or a motorbike approaching. Now this isn't necessarily going to go down as a minor fault because nobody's actually around, and when slowing down for turns, Deiya is checking her mirrors, so this is not a fault, but it's a good idea to be regularly checking your mirrors. approach to this roundabout, there is a zebra crossing before and after the roundabout. She does deal with the junction well and she makes sure that it's safe to enter, but as she goes into the roundabout, she doesn't consider the zebra crossing that's just after, and she does move in a bit too quickly. There was a pedestrian approaching from the right as well as the scooter that was on the left hand side pavement. It wasn't safe for me to brake at this point, but this did go down as a serious fault. When it comes to dealing with pedestrians at zebra crossings is where pedestrians have priority, so always approach with caution and be prepared to give way. Even if you slow down and the pedestrian doesn't cross the road, it's safer that way than you not slowing down and the pedestrian suddenly stepping into the road. As we're driving forward, I did ask Deiya to pull over and park on the left somewhere safe. There are 2 marked spaces and she could have stopped in either of them. If you miss the spaces completely and you don't realise it's safe to park there and you carried on driving, this would not go down as a fault.
If you can pull over and park up on the left somewhere safe. It's fine, don't worry. Just keep driving. Busy watching the lorry there myself. Take the next road on your left, please. Alright, what I'd like you to do now, using the vehicle in front, is to demonstrate how you'd carry out the parallel park exercise. So start in the road next to the vehicle, then reverse back and finish within 2 car lengths, and treat the driveway as a high curb. So don't go onto that section.
Okay.
Okay?
Before starting to reverse at the very beginning, Deiya does look all around, but as we're reversing, it's a good idea to check over towards the right as your vehicle swings in the road. Deiya does park pretty well, but she's slightly sticking out at this point. So she decides to reverse and get closer to the pavement, but she's not looked around at all since the very beginning. So unfortunately, this does go down as a serious fault as her car swings into the road again, and she has not had any regular checks towards the right.
You happy to leave it there?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Drive off when you're ready.
Deiya slows down well to deal with the traffic lights ahead, but as you're waiting at traffic lights, always check your mirrors all round in case of anyone that may suddenly catch up and may try and overtake you. Normally this would be cyclists or motorbikes in this sort of traffic. Always maintain a slow speed when you're driving down a high street, as there's a much higher chance of a hazard developing down here than on the average road with parked vehicles. Always keep scanning both sides in case anybody swings the door open or steps into the road suddenly.
Following the road ahead from there.
Deiya does deal with the roundabout really well, but just on the other side of the roundabout we've got a zebra crossing with 2 pedestrians approaching from the right. We should have anticipated and had a slower approach in case they step into the road. As soon as we went past the crossing, they did start to cross, so she did get a minor fault for this. Always approach slowly when there are pedestrian crossings about, as sometimes pedestrians don't look and they just step into the road.
Thank you. Drive off when you're ready.
On approach to the next roundabout to follow the road ahead, Deiya starts scanning the junction to the right as we've got an open view with the park on the right. She starts looking through the railings and she notices the van approaching. Secure the car. Thank you. That's the end of your driving test. Give me a few minutes, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the end of your drive. How was the drive for you, Deiya?
It was okay.
Okay. Would you say there were any serious faults?
Yeah, there were.
Okay, what was that?
After the roundabout, when the guy was at the crossing.
Yeah.
There, and I think there was like maybe 2 more.
The way you approached, generally when it comes to zebra crossings, you weren't looking at pedestrians when they were a bit close or kind of even passing. I just feel like we need to be a bit more cautious there.
Yeah.
Because on that particular roundabout, did you realise there was a zebra crossing before and there's a zebra crossing after?
Yeah.
And that's because it's really popular for pedestrians to just want to cross at that intersection, so we need to be really careful there.
Yeah.
I didn't brake on that one because, you know, he kind of took his time to go around, but it's just the way he approached. It was just like, oh, why are we going so quick when he's there?
Yeah.
And then I think there was also somebody on the left who was on a skateboard.
I think
I didn't see it too clearly because I was over there, but we need to be really careful with zebra crossings, okay? I've got two serious faults here. One of them being your steering. Do you remember when you turned left out of that junction?
Yeah.
What happened? We're turning left and you kind of stopped near the end of the road. You're looking both ways. There was a few cars on the right going quite quickly.
Yeah.
After those cars, when it was clear,
yeah.
you come out, and what happened as you come out?
There was a car there.
On the opposite
Yeah,
side.
as soon as that happened, I knew it, yeah.
So as well as looking right, you should have thought about how we're turning and how it's going to affect the left side, because you went over
It
and
was
across.
quite wide, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't actually need to turn on that particular junction like that, but if you feel like you're going to do that, if you're going to swing out, then we need to wait for the left to also be clear.
Okay, yeah.
The other serious fault is your reverse parking observation. You're kind of going into that space, it's a little bit funny, you are slightly out,
Yeah.
and then you decided to fix it again, and now there's been a very long time since you've looked over towards the right.
Yeah.
And then when you started steering left, what's happening to the front of your car?
Swinging out.
And now is it safe for us to swing out when you've not checked?
No.
Yeah, so that's what gave you your serious fault for observation. Okay. You did look initially, but there was a very long time where we're just not checking.
Yeah.
And your focus is all on this side, and here you need to check over across. Okay?
Yeah.
Even before that, I was just thinking, oh, the right side's not been checked enough. So even as you're coming back, check it halfway through.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
2 on position normal stop. So as you're driving, when I've asked you to park up, oh god, he's fast. So as I've asked you to park up with your 2 normal stops, one of them, on both of them the same thing happened actually. There's some space to park up and you're kind of trying to pull into the first space, and then you're trying to reverse and fix it.
Yeah.
Try and just kind of roll into the space in the distance. If there's another one, just go into that one.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, on the first one we were too far, and on the second one I think again we were just a bit too far out, and you tried to reverse to fix it, but yeah, tried to just go forward into a spot instead.
Okay.
Awareness and planning. Oh, okay, do you remember that car that looked like it had an accident in front of us?
Oh yeah.
Now did you realise everybody was going past you very slowly?
Oh, they were going past me?
Did you realise they were going a bit slower when they were near you?
Oh yeah.
Why was that?
Was I too far out? Yeah.
So when we initially stopped, you were a bit to the right, and you know, the first car managed, but then that large lorry kind of turned up, and I thought, well, come on, move over. He was pretty happy with the space, but still, come on, just check the left, move over. And you did notice, you did move over, but just try and have that position a bit earlier on. Okay, and a signal just to get round the car later, which I can't remember if you did actually. Oh, and very early on there was a junction observation, that first roundabout where we were turning left, and there was that bus in front. Why didn't you just stop for that bus?
Then I thought it was too far ahead, but then I thought, yeah, I should have stopped.
We give priority to the right. The bus is clearly approaching, and you know, he had to step off a little bit for us.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel nice. I was just thinking, where are we rushing to?
Yeah.
Yeah? So overall, zebra crossings, you need to be a bit more careful with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Junctions don't just look right. You've got to consider how we're turning and if it's going to affect the left as well.
Yeah.
Because that's where one of the other serious faults come in. And your parallel park, making sure you're checking.
Yeah.
If you haven't looked for a little while, look again. Have a little break if you need to look around. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know the stall. What happened?
Yeah.
There? So why did it stall?
I was in second at first, and the second time the clutch was too fast.
Yeah, it's an uphill gradient, right?
Yeah.
So what do you need to do
More
different?
accelerator.
More acceleration. We weren't doing that, definitely. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, we've got plenty of time to fix this, so nothing to be worried about, but not a lot going on. Yeah. But just key areas where we can kind of brush up on a little bit more. And try and check your mirrors a bit more regular. Like you check every time you're about to turn, but when you're just driving in a straight line, there's a long period where you're just not looking. Yeah, just kind of look every so often in that top mirror, every 8 seconds or so.
Okay.
Okay. All right, well, that's the end of our video today. Hopefully Deiya's mock test has been useful for you guys as well. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I also forget to mention, but follow me on TikTok, on Instagram. It's all there. It's all Clearview driving. So bye for now.